What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom Black Manta figure and Storm the Seahorse. So getting ready for the new Aquaman movie to come out, so figured we'd take a look at some of the characters. Now we are trying to avoid more of the movie-like characters, but with these they kind of have more of a comic book look to them. So with the Black Manta here, I think he looks, pretty comic booky. Obviously not like directly from any comic book, but it has more of that comic book sort of feel to it. So we decided to pick up this figure because I think it looks pretty cool, so we'll be taking a look at that. And then also Storm, which is just a giant seahorse, not anything particular. So we'll be trying to use this and put an Aquaman on it, like one of our comic Aquamans, and use it for that because I think it'll look pretty cool. And it comes with a stand. I don't know if it shows it. No, it doesn't. It just shows Aquaman riding it, but it does come with a stand so it can like float up in the air and stuff. So hopefully that'll be pretty cool as well. So like I said, we'll have to put an Aquaman on that and he can fight against our Black Man here. So I'm excited to check these out. So let me get him out of the box and we'll take a look at them together. So let's start off with Black Manta, whose real name is David Kane. Now, he was second in command of a high-tech pirate crew, but following a confrontation with Aquaman that resulted in his father's death, David sought revenge on Aquaman. So Ocean Master provided him with Atlantean weaponry that he equipped to his diving suit to become Black Manta, and during their next confrontation ended with Manta being defeated once again, but being saved by Dr. Shin, so David could continue his quest to get revenge on Aquaman. So that's leading up to what we're going to see in the movie here. Obviously that was all from the first Aquaman movie, but in this, as you see, he does have a completely new suit. I wish we had a figure of Black Manta from the first movie just so I could show you that comparison, but this definitely does look much more classic with mostly all black diving suit and the silver like bulbous head. Just as I said, this one looks more classic, but with his suit he got superhuman strength and durability as well as flight and could fire energy beams from his eyes. So now this is a modified suit, so it doesn't look nearly as much as his last one did. It's still the all black like wetsuit, but it's probably modified a little. I do like how there's some blues, like this midsection in here has some blue. I can't tell if it's just a wash or, yeah, it must just be because it's just on the front section. So it has like a blue wash there, and then he's got like these pocket pad things or whatever on the sides of his thighs and on the knees there that are blue. So there is some blue running throughout the body, and the top of his boots have some wash on it as well, but black pretty much everywhere else. Then he's got the big head. It's like the big Manta head, which looks pretty cool with the big red eyes, of course, that can shoot out the blast, some red details on the side. And like I said, this one looks much more like low tech, like it doesn't look as high tech as he had before, so it looks more basic. And I like how it has the tubing coming out and going into the back, so it has the backpack piece on, so that probably has his oxygen tanks and like these little engines, so they'll probably shoot stuff to propel him through the water and fly and everything. So it's cool. Like I said, looks much more lower tech than what he had before, but I think still looks pretty cool overall. And then he has this big silver piece on his arm. I assume his blade's gonna come out because I think the last one he had a blade like come out of his arm, so I assume that's what that's gonna be inside there. But it'd be cool if we got like an accessory to go along with it. But overall, I think he looks pretty cool. And like I said, the biggest thing with this and the reason we got it is because it looks a lot like the classic comic look, so it'd be perfect to go with our older versions of Aquaman that we want to use it for. So I think he looks awesome in this way. But for the movements, of course, his head's going to have some issues because of the tubing, but it still can twist side to side, just can't twist all the way around, but can twist side to side, and it can look down that far and up that far, so pretty decent movements in the head. So even with that tubing, it's not bad. Of course, it does sort of get in the way, so it's sometimes hard to get the head posed exactly where you want it and for it to stay, but still works out pretty decently. But then we get the shoulders that can come up to 90. Of course, has like that butterfly joint, barely moves at all, so I don't really know what's there. So just a little bit of movement and can rotate around. But then we get the bicep twist and the double elbow joint that can bend all the way up on itself there pretty much. Then we get the wrist that'll twist around and hinge on the ball joint back and forth. Then we go to the ab crunch, so we have the upper crunch where you can crunch back and forth and twist all the way around, and then crunch at his waist and twist all the way around. Then we get the hips that can come up to 90 and out to the side, can do the splits with the double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back, almost kicking his butt. And then we do get the foot that'll rock back and forth and twist side to side with the toe joint on the end. So the standard McFarlane movements, so nothing really out of the ordinary there for him, but he works out just fine. Now in some positions I do have an issue standing him, probably because of like the bulkiness of the stuff on his head and back, so it kind of makes him top heavy, so he wants to fall down, but I've been able to like readjust his legs and he stands up pretty easily. Now normally I would put him on base, but he doesn't come with the normal one. Now obviously we can just take it from others, we get him with every figure, so Well, I'm sure we have extras by now laying around, but he does come with the flight stand base. So we obviously have the base we could put him on, but as the flight stand, I'm like, it's weird they include the flight stand with him because, you know, he does have some flight abilities, but we've not got any of these with like Aquaman or anything. But I assume you can put him on him so it can be like he's swimming in the ocean. So he's like, you know, up in the air, sort of floating. So I guess it's pretty cool, but I probably wouldn't be using it for anything like that. But I guess it is still cool that it's included. And then for accessory wise, the only thing he comes with is some like flame effects that go into his backpack. So like shooting out the flames. So like I said, like he could be flying or swimming in the water. So let's stick these in. So there are those effects coming out of his back. So again, now it can be like he's swimming through the water now, which would be pretty cool. But I wish he came with like a weapon or something. Like, and when I show you his card, he has something. So I wish we had something like that. But yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't come with a sword or anything. And so I wish he had something. Yeah, all we get is the flight stand and the effects to go in his back. So we can kind of try and get him in a swimming pose. Unfortunately, he doesn't look up enough to really get him in too much. But like I said, trying to get him in a somewhat swimming pose. But he does also come with his card. So there's a picture of him. So it's a cartoony version, but it is going to be from the new movie, The Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. But there you can see he has this black trident, which is shown in the movie a lot with him, like all the other figures like that Mattel makes and stuff or whatever, whoever makes the little tiny figures, it always comes with this trident as well. And they did make the trident, McFarlane did, but it came with another character, so to get it you have to buy that other character to get the black trident, and we may do that just like I said to get the trident and put with him. But has another cool little weird looking creature there in the background. But if we spin it around, we can see the story on the back. Now on the back here it says his name is David Hyde, but he's considered one of Aquaman's greatest enemies. Black Manta has a singular hatred for the King of Atlantis. For decades, Manta's true name and motives were shrouded in mystery, hidden behind his menacing oversized helmet. In modern times, however, his true motivations have been revealed. No matter the era, Black Manta has always inflicted a special kind of pain upon his archenemy, cementing his reputation as one of the most ruthless and driven criminals in DC history. So that's a good explanation for him. Like I said, a little bit different with the name there, but just for some comparison, we do have the Black Manta. I think it was from the Page Punchers. This is the only Black Manta we have so far from the DC multiverse, so we'll just have to take a look at this one compared. Obviously, this one looks definitely much more high-tech, and I'd probably say this is probably closer to what he looked like in the first movie. Just it seems, you know, much more futuristic with all the black technology and armor and stuff. So I think it's cool, but you can see this head's a lot smaller, where this one, like I said, looks much more classic, and especially with the smoother like bodysuit and stuff, it definitely looks more classic with that as well. So I am excited that we do have this figure. Like I said, we just need to get that other figure for the black trident now to put along with him to give him some sort of weapon. But overall, I like the design. Like I said, it has that very classic look to it, which is perfect. And then we also have Storm, this sea dragon, or looks like a giant seahorse to me. And this thing looks pretty cool. Of course, it is huge, so it's hard to really even get it to fit into the camera just how big it is. But it is enormous and looks awesome. So much nice little details in here. So he is on the stand, and with it, it's really hard to get it on this like ball peg. So it is on a ball, so you can sort of get it to rotate around a little bit and readjust it. But kind of once you get it on, it's got to stay on. Obviously, you can pull it back out, but it was just super hard to get in. So once we got it in, we're just going to have to leave it now. So it does sit up on that stand, so up in the air, which is really nice. It just seems like it's maybe a little bit too long, which is unfortunate. But overall, like I said, it looks very cool. So he's got this gold armor on, so gold like covering his faceplate, and there on his chest around to the saddle that the characters can ride on. So that's pretty cool, and has some straps going around, you know, obviously to hold on to and control it. But it looks pretty nice with the like eyes in there that look almost like a goldish color, which look cool. And then I love the color changes. So it's got like this aqua like teal color, and then this purplish blue on the front, so the nice like color combinations and switching to it. And of course there's like brushes of colors and stuff, so it's not just all solid, it's got some change going on as you see there in the body. So that's really cool. And then it kind of continues on with like the bottom of the face there, so it looks pretty cool. Like I said, it's like a seahorse face there, so nothing too special about it, just like, you know, the pointy face. And then we start to get all like the frills and like fringes, so we have like the little fins here off the side of his head, again with the color changes from the teal color all the way to like the purple to blue, and then all the little spikes around the head and the spine going down there. So I love how it's pokey in the center, but web that goes all the way down the back, and then kind of dissipates, but then picks up again for the tail that comes around and curls around, which is really cool. Then we have the fins on the back as well, again with the teal color going into the blue there for the fins, which is really cool. So overall, the design and everything with this just looks super cool. Obviously, it does look much more realistic, so it'd be better if it was like more cartoony colors, I guess. So like more solid colors, you know, very cartoonish looking for what we're wanting, but still this, you know, works just fine. It doesn't doesn't look, you know, like, oh, you don't recognize that straight out of the movie. It just looks like a giant seahorse. Now, there is some movement with this, so we do get the head does move up and down a little bit, so you can go up. I think that's about as high up as I can get it, and then it can go down really far. So you do have some range of movements in there, and then it does also has some twisting side to side, so you can sort of adjust it however you want there. The fins do move here on the back, so the fins do move in and out and can rotate around a little, so you can sort of adjust however you think it looks best when posing. And then I guess it's not really a movement, but there is some movement. The tail does sort of spin because that's where you connect it, so it does have some spin around ability, but if you twist like that, it just kind of looks awkward, so you just got to keep the colors all matched up and have it spun around that way. But yeah, there's that movements, and then as I said, it's on this ball, so it does have some movements back and forth, like sort of moving around a little, so you can just try and adjust it into whatever positions you want. But as I said, the main reason for us getting it was so we could put Aquaman on it. So we're going to take what we're calling our classic Aquaman so far, you know, the most classic looking Aquaman figure we have so far. So we want to take this and put it on this so he can ride it around. So let me put him on here. So there is Storm with Aquaman on, and I think that looks pretty good. Like I said, if the colors were a little bit more basic and cartoony, this would look even better together, but I think that looks pretty awesome. Having this version of Aquaman riding on Storm looks really cool. Obviously, you just set him on there. I do have his hand holding the strap, so it will like sort of hold on a little bit. Obviously, he's not sitting on it too perfectly, and you can obviously arrange him and adjust him to get him posed up however you want, but I do think that looks really awesome. Now, the only thing I wish personally with this figure is that it had more movement. Since it is like a seahorse design, I wish you could sort of like straighten it up so it'd be like sitting up and down with the tail like sticking straight down. I think that'd be pretty cool, but in this form, it just kind of, you know, just sits straight out like this, so has the long tail sticking out there into the back. So that's just the one thing I wish it had a little bit more adjustability with the figure itself, but for what it is, it's hard to complain about. I think it looks awesome. And then we of course have the card that comes with it, which is Storm again from Aquaman and the Lost Kingdoms. Now on the back though, it does say, rescued by Aquaman, Storm, a majestic albino sea dragon, is the superhero's trusted loyal companion, bravely riding into battle with the Atlantean king. So saying that it is supposed to be an albino, and seeing the picture, it shows it mostly all white there, where obviously it's not all white here, so I don't know why they did that. You know, it's like this is Storm, the albino version, but it's not white, so we'll just have to see, I guess, how it looks in the movie and compare. But I think obviously it looks very colorful here, so it's not albino, but still very cool to have this figure. Just to have this look alone, having this Aquaman riding on it is just so cool. So at least definitely for us, you know, having this other Aquaman figure, it's worth getting this Storm just to be able to have him riding it. So that's gonna be cool to put on a shelf. And then of course we can also bring in, it's not gonna work out too well, but our Black Manta, if we had that other trident, could be fighting him. So we need like another bigger flight stand. Since this Storm stand is so big, we need another one. So Aquaman and Black Manta can be fighting each other. They're swimming around in the ocean. So that'd be pretty cool. But overall, very cool to have these two figures for the new Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom movie, with this version of Black Manta that I said looks very classic and everything to me, and then getting Storm, the big seahorse dragon that looks really cool to have our classic looking Aquaman riding on. So very cool to have both these together, and like I said, I think they fit pretty well together. This Black Manta looks really good next to this Aquaman as well, so it's just what we wanted. So let me know what you thought of these two things down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, let me know with a thumbs up. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.